Attention gamers. Last week I decided to play games in Challenger as a hard-stuck silver player to see how big the difference in skill is and to try to give my viewers something unique to watch in this otherwise stale piss pit of a content farm known as League of Legends. Now for those of you asking, yes, I hit plat a few years ago, but I was hard carried by someone who was more than committed to playing a lot of Kha'Zix, and so you could say that my debut in Challenger kinda felt like the only reason I got to play at that rank was because my dad's name is LeBron. But of course a bunch of rubber-necking Pringles finger backseaters in the comments were too stupid to understand the point of the video where I said League players are always quick to think others suck when if it came to it, they would get stomped in the same games, and to which I proved by going 0-13 and doing less damage than a Nami support in my first game, as the resounding opinion was that I belong in Iron, which further proves my point about how insufferably stupid some of these kids in their car seats are, as if you take a silver player and put him in a non-silver game, his dumbassery is going to stand out way more. But since I'm committed to making you guys not bleed out of your eyes from watching my Iron gameplay, and I'm also suffering from a wild World of Warcraft addiction, today I will be showing you some gameplay from a man named Drututt. The dude that I watch religiously in the mornings, as I'm guessing by his accent he plays this cancer game from across the pond because he mods his character models and says some hilarious shit.
Bot lane needs a hero!
But he recently tweeted his tier list for abusing range top laners, talking about how they are in a good spot for solo lanes, and he's recently doubled down on how broken these champs are by climbing in the mid lane with them, and his results are disgusting.
70,000 damage! Thank God I picked Smolder this game. I'm not playing Zeri, this is literally a cheat code. This is literally cheating, This champ is so overpowered.
So today we are going to show how playing these two champs is now the second best way to get fed. The first being to use HelloFresh. HelloFresh is the best way to smurf on life IRL, as it allows you to eat like you are married to Ina Gartner for an affordable price with no hassle, as it is the best meal kit delivery system on planet Earth. It's so easy to use, a Garen main could do it. You just go to their website, select what type of meals you want to mukbang. I like fit and wholesome because I would like to be fit, and based on my commentary we all know I'm wholesome, and then I tell them how many meals to give me a week. You can customize things if you want some specifics while entering in discount codes to get dank deals, wink wink. Then fresh healthy muscle making ingredients with recipe cards get shipped right to your door, where you can chef sizzle that biz up, and within no time at hardly any cost you get a healthy home cooked meal. So use my link in the description and get 10 free meals plus free appetizers for life, which is the best deal they've ever offered. So try it today and let's get into the games. Alright, so game 1, he's playing Disney Pixar's How to Train Your 200 Years Dragon against Lord Stone Tits, and it looks like he's the winner of the Who's Jungler Comes Mid First award, and this may be Master, but his brand forgot his brain cells, as they were in the same bag as his mechanics that he left back in Bronze, all while a passive pig riding bystander comes in and the game starts off on a tilt. But he appropriately keeps his mental by identifying the problem.
He flashed point blank, miss, and then I get a fucking internet attack as well. It's just a jungle gap.
Then a minute later he's just prepping a bait because he knows he has his bot lane coming up, but his support apparently went to the same rifle academy as Thomas Crooks, as this guy doesn't even get an ear with that ult, resulting in one gargoyle unharmed and a pissed off Polish person.
What is up with stormtroopers in my game?
That said, it looks like one of the reasons this little toddler Drake is so good in solo lanes is because she has 2024 champ mobility in her kit, so he can kind of dance around until Ashe's next ult is off cooldown.
This is so annoying!
So with no luck on the mid lane, he takes his talents to the South Beach to go gator hunting with his flatulent fuck of a support, and this is looking good until Renekton is all like, hey, remember when I was one shot and about to die? Psych, neither do I bitches, as it quickly turns into a dank display of Riot's superb game design with the current set of items, as this is looking like a piss poor start to a game and a poor example as to why this champ is OP, but that's precisely why I picked this game. You see, eventually everyone is gonna want to get together and cast bets on if Jake Paul can win his next fight match against a paraplegic chess player to prove that he's pro boxer material, and that's where Lil Drake teleports in, calls his mom in for a celeb shot, and just melts these rubber-necking turkeys in their place with ease, which according to the madman, unlocks a power spike worthy of proving why this pick is freelo.
I have acquired Execute and Spear of Sojin at 19 minutes, now it's time for me to take over, chat.
And by takeover he means pan to his teammates fighting only to realize some warthog rider is trying to turn him into a Polish popsicle which is looking like a CC chain long enough to fit around a young Brock Lesnar's neck, but someone give this Jana a medal because the amount of shields and heals she's giving him in the face of two bruisers desperately trying to teabag a dead marksman's body is insane as he flies around long enough to blade before saying see later to the alligator. The fights continue into the enemy forest, but his pick is a tank killer for reasons unknown because I never read Smolder's kit, but it seems to have given him a violent case of the hiccups. And while it may seem that he is just set up to kill tanks, the busty buccaneer proves that he can flick her nipples even easier, and that prompts an even bigger blade. Stone Tits McGee is now more desperate than ever to apply what he's learned on how to train a dragon, but Drututt is more evasive than a coked up guppy on a lube-covered tit, which is unleashing even more madness. His Ash eventually reads the tooltip on her ult and realizes that it's designed to actually hit enemies in order to do anything, which is a revelation that lands our little bursty boy a mini-me Elder Dragon proc, and in a game that started 1 and 2 he is now snowballed into an 8-kill monstrosity. He doesn't have any items that specifically spell out spank a tank in their description, but for some reason Peggy the Pig Rider melts like a cheap piece of chocolate in his presence as he kites around and bitch slaps anyone within range as the teamfights are getting more one-sided than a debate with Ben Shapiro. They breach the base as he shows how a single Q does half the entire enemy team's health before getting in a flaccid dick situation himself, but not to fear the one Jana who isn't elo inflated is here, who keeps him alive, healthy, and fluffed up like a young Johnny Sims on the side of a set as the enemy team is already front and center getting fucked from all angles. And so as this literal master elo game ends with them puppy guarding the shitters in their own fountain, he makes a few regards around his opinion of this first pick.
70,000 damage! Holy shit, thank god I picked Smolder this game. Nice.
Game 2 he decides to play ADHD Billie Eilish, who in terms of his top lane tier list he called quote unquote by far the best in that solo lane, as you can see him transferring her utter amounts of broken bullshit into the mid lane against Aphelios' gay lover, which opens up the doors for something he likes to call
Bot lane needs a hero!
So he decides to conduct a counter gank against a Zyra who self-identifies as Crazy Dave from a game called Plants vs Zombies. Yes, I had to look this up because I had no clue what this Family Guy looking cartoon with a fry pan on his head was, but the important thing to note was how easy that roam was for Mr. Toot, to which he says,
Tell me Zeri isn't overpowered mid lane. What the fuck is this, man?
This only gets worse when there is a custody battle over topside Scuttle Crab as Crazy Dave is arguing alimony is paid, but everyone else is like that psychopath isn't fit to be a father, so things turn dark and a double homicide ends up ensuing, but I guess the horsepower behind the static slut of a mid lane needs to be repeated.
It's GG. I'm not playing Zeri, this is literally a cheat code. This is literally cheating, this champ is so overpowered.
And then we get an encore of our favorite series.
Bot lane needs a hero!
You would think Master Elo players would think to use their wards, especially after just getting their urethras inverted 2 minutes earlier from a roam, but they don't, so he just ignores Crazy Dave's porch pot and parkours in before proceeding to play this fight just about as drunk piss poorly as he could have while still managing to make it a beneficial 2-for-1 for his team. So then he shows off the spammable wave clear that this champ has to illustrate that any new character in the last 2 years has been designed in the nepotism hire department at Riot Games, with more burst mobility and a better upbringing than, let's say, Annie, that ginger fuck, but regardless he has had success playing peekaboo bot, and so that continues to be the plan. He disrespects the shit out of the giant wall's presence before Kennen ulting and Jinx passiving because he can, and yet another easy roam is in the books. Eventually his support roams up.
Slow him, Joe Biden!
To which he is like, way more like, why don't you go back to base, you gothic bitch, and thus mid lane is snowballed completely out of control. He takes tower, which blows the map open and lets him set up cute little games of surprise you a dead bitch with the poor little gapped guppy who has to go against his hidden tech with booger bleached hair and a buttload of kills.
Top lane needs a hero!
And it's not every day an ADC just swan dives into the slobber zone like this, but I guess he knows his limits better than my apparent iron ass, plus there's a flaming centaur en route that he may have accounted for in that fight. Anyways, team fights are breaking out and you can see him setting up a long ass wall to subway surf into battle and do a dank amount of burst to half their team only to come up short of getting a single kill. So if any of you ever wanted to know what the phrase blue balls sounds like, here you go. Anyways, he's sneaking around like a little static shit just waiting for Crazy Dave Zyra to be unsuspecting and is clear only to pop out and remind her that walls mean nothing to him while packing enough burst to make the Twitch recording cutout, which makes him fed enough that ultimately the enemy team needs to send all their troops at him just to shut him down, but at this point they know it's hopeless.
Warp! That's warp! That's warp! That's warp!
And thus you see it from the master himself. These two champs are apparently free low if you are mechanically dank at this game and want to put your cape on, because there will always be times in solo queue where
Bot lane needs a hero!
Subscribe to Drututt on Twitch, the dude is insanely entertaining. Rav out.